For this part of the gimbal bootcamp, we're going to shoot a fluid master. So a fluid master is a whole scene that takes place in one shot. You see this a lot in movies, you see this in TV shows. This is a narrative type of shot. This is not something you would probably do in a documentary shoot. So for the scene, I have two actors. We have Anna from before, and we have Eric now. So we made up a little story for this scene. Eric arrives to this restaurant an hour after he was supposed to be here, and Anna is pissed off. 1, Eric is late. 2, Anna's pissed off about it. And we're going to build all of the movement around those two beats. And when you're planning a scene like this, the most important thing is the story, of course. You have to really know what your story is and what dramatic beats you need to hit during the scene. Okay, so I know the story. Next, I need to work out the blocking of the scene. Blocking is the movement of the elements in the scene. We have actors and we have camera, and both are going to be moving. And that makes it kind of complicated. So let's do a little walkthrough as I block out this scene. So at the beginning of the shot, I have to establish my location. I've got my 35mm lens on my camera here, and I'm just going to look around and see what's the best angle to establish where we are. So I'm going to start, as far back as I can, somewhere around here, like that. I want to catch the entrance of the restaurant in my shot, but I also want to be able to see Eric's bike. This is my first blocking point for the camera. They call these marks in movies. A mark is each point that you have to hit during a scene. So this is my first mark. So Eric is going to arrive on the scene on his motorbike, but for rehearsal purposes, I'll just have him walk. So I'm going to be sort of straight on at first. I'm going to be pushing in, and then I want to pan left and tilt down as he arrives. Okay, stop there. So my second mark is somewhere around here because I kind of want to be in profile, like sort of a long shot so you can see the whole bike when he parks it. Eric, after you get off the bike, you're going to walk into the restaurant. So I want to be here, something like this, because I want the audience to clearly see Eric's face as he walks so we can read his emotions, read his expression. As you walk, I'm going to have to walk backwards, something like this. Let's just go real slow. So I'm going to have to pan off from you to Anna. So keep walking. So just a pan like that will be fine. So then you're going to give Anna a kiss. And I guess she wouldn't get up because she's pissed off. So she's going to stay down and you're going to kiss her like that. Okay, something like that. Now that's okay, but I could try to open up Eric to camera a bit more, and I'll show you what that looks like. So Eric, just turn so that your body is facing camera a bit more, just like that. That's good. So this is different than when you were close to camera. Show me close to camera. That's one way. And try open to camera. Yeah, that way we're not looking at your back. For a normal kind of shot, you usually want to cheat the action. It's called cheating when you change things from reality a bit. You want to cheat the action a bit to open up your actors toward camera. Okay, so after you do the kiss, you're going to sit down. All right. And then the next beat is you're going to take a drink of her beer. So grab her beer. I can't see you take the beer very well at all, and I can't see you drink it. So what I want to do here is I want to continue my motion so that I follow the beer glass as you drink it, like that. The tricky thing is I have to catch Anna's reaction somehow, and I don't want to do a whip pan like this. That sucks. You have to try to keep the camera movement as continuous as possible. You can speed up and you can slow down, but if you're generally moving in one direction, like I'm generally panning left, then I don't really want to pan right unless I'm intentionally trying to create a shocking moment or something that feels out of place. Most of the time, I will want to continue to pan for the entire shot. So I'm going to pan off to the beer, and then he's going to take a drink of that beer, and then I have to somehow catch Anna at the end of this scene because I want to see some of her reaction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back, and then Anna is going to be talking to him. Oh, and the final moment is, Eric, you're going to take a bite of her food. So go ahead and show me what that looks like. So that almost works, but we have a couple problems here. One, I can't read Anna's emotions very well because her back is completely to us. So Anna, what you're going to do is you are going to gesticulate a bit with your left hand. So let's see what that looks like. There. Now we know what's going on with Anna emotionally. The other issue is I can't see the plate. So we're going to move this plate a little bit, just a little bit that way. Now let's see it again. Take that food. And Anna, sorry, still can't see the plate. Scoot a tiny bit this way, just a little bit. Okay. So she's a little bit off center from her plate, but the audience probably won't notice or care about that. Take the food, and Anna, do the hand movement. Now we've got both elements in the frame. So what I've done here is I've given myself and the actor several marks we have to hit. My first mark is the wide shot of the restaurant. My second mark is the profile of the scooter. My third mark is the front view of Eric as he walks. The fourth mark is Anna's face as Eric leans down to kiss her. The fifth mark is the beer as Eric takes it. And the sixth mark is the shot of the table with Eric centered as the camera pulls away to reveal Anna and her reaction. 6 marks for me. Eric has 3 marks. His first mark is when he parks his scooter. His second mark is when he leans in to kiss Anna. And his third mark is when he sits down at the table. Okay, the creative stuff is out of the way. Time to think about the technical stuff. Chief priority, keeping everybody in frame and everybody in focus. So first, let's talk about framing. I'm shooting on my 35 lens, which is not super wide, so it is a little tricky to keep actors in frame. I'd love to shoot this whole thing in pan follow mode so I don't have to tilt at all during the shot, because I just generally like to avoid tilting if I can. I feel like it's a little less cinematic if the camera's tilting all over the place. But realistically speaking, I will probably have to make little adjustments to the framing as we go along, so for that reason I'm shooting in follow mode. The second thing I have to worry about is keeping everything in focus. I'm going to close down my aperture a bit, so I'm shooting at f4. This also means I'm shooting at ISO 2000 because it's kind of dark in here, and for a real narrative shoot I would probably add some additional lighting so that I wouldn't be shooting at such a high ISO. But because this camera can churn out a pretty clean image at ISO 2000, I'm not going to worry about it too much. It's much more important to have things in focus. The autofocus settings are just the default settings, standard speed, normal responsiveness, nothing special there. But I am using center mode in the area settings on my camera. In other words, I'm making the camera focus on the center of the screen. That way, if some random object enters the frame in the corners, the autofocus won't shift to it. It'll stay focused on Eric. The center gets priority for the shot. The third element of keeping everything in focus is designing your shot so that the autofocus can handle it. If you remember, the way this shot was constructed, there's no moment where the autofocus has to suddenly jump to a different part of the screen. The action is always staying in the center. So that way, the autofocus doesn't have to jump from something that's close to something that's far away, or from something that's on the left side of the frame to something that's on the right side of the frame. And that makes this shot a lot more achievable without having a focus puller on set. So once performance has been rehearsed, it's time to shoot. Let's go ahead and shoot the scene. 3, 2, 1, action. Action. Okay, I think this scene turned out great. Now let's move on to the next location.